My name is Clara Jenkins, and my hands always knew what they were meant to do. From the time I was a little girl growing up in the quirky, artistic vibe of Portland, Oregon, I was drawn to the tiny, intricate things. Beads, wires, old clock parts, you name it. My passion wasn't just collecting them. It was turning them into something new, something beautiful, something deeply personal. I eventually opened my own small custom jewelry studio, Threaded Dreams, tucked away in a charming little storefront in southeast Portland. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine, and every piece I made, whether a delicate silver necklace with tiny pressed flowers or a bold statement ring crafted from salvaged copper, told a story. I poured my heart and soul into that shop, learning every trick of the trade, spending late nights hunched over my workbench, creating unique designs that my customers cherished. My reputation grew slowly but steadily, built on the quality of my craftsmanship and the undeniable originality of my work. People came to me for engagement rings unlike anything they'd see in a chain store, for anniversary gifts that truly captured a moment, for pieces that felt like they were made just for them because they were. I loved my life, the smell of metal polish, the soft glow of my work lamp, the quiet satisfaction of seeing a design come to life under my hands. It wasn't just a business. It was my calling, my identity, my entire world. Then Stella came along. She started as a customer, admiring my work, praising my unique style. She said she was an aspiring jewelry designer herself, and she seemed so genuinely excited by what I did. I, being the open and trusting person I was, let her in. I hired her as an apprentice, thinking it would be wonderful to mentor someone who shared my passion. I taught her my special techniques, showed her my design sketchbooks, shared the names of my most reliable suppliers, even introduced her to my loyal customer base. Stella was quick to learn, almost too quick, soaking up every bit of knowledge like a sponge. For a while, it felt like a dream. We'd laugh, share ideas, and my shop buzzed with a new energy. I thought I had found a kindred spirit, a true friend, someone who understood the intricate dance between metal and stone as I did. But Stella wasn't just learning, she was meticulously copying. She wasn't just admiring, she was coveting. One crisp autumn morning, I walked into my studio to find it eerily quiet, the workbench disturbingly empty. My most precious sketchbooks, filled with years of unique designs, were gone. My special custom-made tools, the ones that took years to acquire and master, were nowhere to be found. Even my customer list, painstakingly built over countless hours of personal connection, had vanished from my computer. A cold dread seeped into my bones. Stella was gone too. Her phone number disconnected, her social media profiles deleted. It was a clean sweep. My world, once vibrant and full of creative possibility, had shattered into a million tiny, sharp pieces. The problem was stark and terrifying. My entire livelihood, my artistic identity, had been stolen, and the person who stole it was someone I had trusted with everything. Stella had become my nemesis, not just a thief, but a betrayer of the deepest kind. How could I rebuild when the very foundation had been ripped out from under me? How could I ever trust again? My first efforts to solve the problem were a frantic scramble. I reported the theft to the police, but without any physical evidence of forced entry, and Stella being a former employee who I had voluntarily given access to everything, they categorized it as a civil dispute, advising me to pursue legal action. I spent what little savings I had left on a lawyer, hoping to sue Stella for intellectual property theft and breach of trust. But Stella, it turned out, was clever. She had opened her own upscale boutique, Stella's Sparkle, on the swankier side of town, just a few weeks after disappearing from my life. And there, proudly displayed in her polished glass cases, were my designs. My whisperwire necklaces, my botanical bloom rings, my unique interlocking bracelet designs, all of them, slightly altered, mass-produced with cheaper materials, but undeniably mine. Her website featured slick professional photos, claiming these were her original creations, born from years of dedication to her craft. The legal battle was a nightmare. Stella's lawyer painted me as a bitter former employer, making false accusations against a talented up-and-coming artist. She claimed my designs were generic, that she had been developing her own similar style for years, and that I was simply trying to sabotage her newfound success. The legal fees mounted, quickly draining what remained of my emergency fund. I tried to warn my former customers, sending out emails explaining what had happened, but many had already received Stella's glossy marketing materials, offering my designs at a lower price point. Some believed me, offering sympathy, but others simply saw a cheaper version of the jewelry they loved and flocked to Stella's shop. The original problem of theft began to grow bigger and more serious. My own studio, Threaded Dreams, struggled. Without my signature designs, without my customer list, without my specialized tools, I couldn't create new pieces fast enough or with the same quality. My inspiration felt stifled, tainted by the betrayal. Rent became a constant worry, supplier invoices piled up, and the once joyful act of creation now felt like a desperate struggle. Each hurdle was higher than the last. I tried to innovate, to come up with completely new styles, but every idea felt hollow, overshadowed by the thought of Stella profiting from my hard work. I lost several key suppliers who began to favor Stella's larger, more consistent orders. My reputation, once solid, was now shadowed by the legal dispute and Stella's well-funded marketing campaigns that subtly hinted at my outdated methods. I was falling behind, losing ground. The lowest point came when the eviction notice was served. I couldn't pay the rent for my beloved studio anymore. I stood amidst the empty display cases, the ghost of my dreams haunting every corner, tears streaming down my face. I had lost everything. My business, my savings, my sense of purpose, my trust in people, and worst of all, my creative fire. I had to pack up my tools, the few I had left, and move them into a cramped corner of my tiny apartment. I took a job at a coffee shop downtown, pouring lattes for strangers, my hands, once so skilled and confident, now trembling as I tried to make perfect foam. Every day, I walked past Stella's sparkling boutique, seeing my stolen legacy on display, watching her customers happily leave with pieces that were fundamentally mine. It felt like a punch to the gut each time. All the progress I thought I'd made in my life, all the dreams I had worked so hard to build, were gone. I was certain that all was lost, that Stella had won, and I was just another crushed artist in a city full of them. But deep down, a tiny ember of my old fire still flickered. It was buried under layers of despair, but it was there, a stubborn refusal to be extinguished. One evening, after a particularly grueling shift at the coffee shop, I found myself sketching again, almost unconsciously. It wasn't the old designs. It was something new, something born from the ashes of my betrayal, something that spoke of resilience, of brokenness made beautiful. I realized then that while Stella could steal my designs, she could never steal my unique way of seeing the world, my original creative spirit, or the hands that brought those visions to life. My revenge wouldn't be in a courtroom, where Stella excelled at manipulation. It would be in creation, in reclaiming my narrative, in proving, undeniably, that I was the true artist. I decided to make one final, last-ditch effort, risking absolutely everything I had left. I drained my meager savings, every penny I'd earned at the coffee shop, to buy the highest quality materials I could afford, ethically sourced gemstones, fine sterling silver, and rare, sustainable woods. I worked in secret, late into the night, my apartment kitchen table becoming my new workbench. I developed a completely new collection, Phoenix Rising, each piece meticulously crafted to tell a story of transformation and resilience. The designs were intricate, innovative, and incorporated a secret signature element that only I, with my intimate knowledge of my own techniques, could execute perfectly. It was a tiny, almost invisible detail, a particular twist of wire, a specific way of setting a stone that would be impossible to replicate without my original tools and years of practice. I needed a platform, a way to showcase this new work, and in doing so, expose Stella. I remembered an annual juried art exhibition at a prestigious local gallery that always drew a lot of attention from collectors and critics. It was a long shot, but it was my only shot. I poured all my remaining strength and courage into creating a single, breathtaking centerpiece for the show. A large, elaborate necklace featuring a silver phoenix rising from charred wood, with a teardrop-shaped opal at its heart. The design was complex, layered, and deeply personal, encapsulating my entire journey. I submitted it, along with a collection of supporting pieces, and waited, my heart pounding with a mix of fear and desperate hope. To my astonishment, my Phoenix Rising collection was accepted into the exhibition. The opening night was a blur of nervous excitement. I stood beside my display, watching people admire my work, their gasps of appreciation feeling like water on a parched soul. Then, a renowned art critic from a major regional newspaper stopped at my exhibit. She spent a long time examining the phoenix necklace, her brow furrowed in concentration. I held my breath. After a moment, she looked up, her eyes bright with understanding. She recognized my old style in the intricacy, but saw the profound evolution, the undeniable originality of the new work. Her review, published the next day, was a revelation. She praised my innovative techniques, the emotional depth of my new collection, and then, subtly, she mentioned the unmistakable signature of a true master, one whose unique artistic voice, once echoed elsewhere, has now ascended to new, undeniable heights. She highlighted the secret twist in my wirework, the unreplicable nuance in my stone settings, suggesting that while imitation might flatter, it could never capture the soul. The local art community, already aware of the whispers about Stella's rapid, suspiciously familiar success, immediately understood the implication. People started comparing my new work to Stella's existing pieces, and the difference in quality, in originality, in spirit became glaringly obvious. Stella's carefully constructed facade began to crumble. Her sales plummeted as customers, feeling duped, started demanding refunds. Her investors, alerted by the negative buzz and the subtle implications of the art critic's review, began to question her claims of originality and her business practices. Word spread like wildfire through Portland's close-knit art scene. My phone started ringing off the hook with orders, commissions, and interview requests. I reopened Threaded Dreams, not in my old, stolen form, but as Clara Jenkins, Phoenix Rising, a stronger, more authentic version of myself and my brand. I was rewarded not just with financial success, but with something far more profound, the restoration of my artistic integrity and the deep satisfaction of knowing I had overcome betrayal through my own enduring talent. I was fulfilled. My new normal was one of vibrant creation, surrounded by a community that respected and celebrated my work. I was more cautious now, more discerning about who I let into my creative space, but I was also more confident in my unique vision. I hired new apprentices, but this time, I focused on fostering their own creative voices, not just teaching them my techniques. My studio, now larger and brighter, became a haven for genuine artistry. The twist, the truly poetic consequence of Stella's choice, unfolded over the next few months. As her business spiraled, she tried to pivot, desperately attempting to copy my new Phoenix Rising style. But without my innate understanding of the emotional journey behind each piece, without my unique touch, her imitations were grotesque, cheap, and entirely lacking in soul. She even tried to replicate my secret twist and failed spectacularly, making her copies look shoddy and amateurish. Her investors, seeing her inability to create anything truly original, pulled out completely. Her boutique, Stella's Sparkle, went bankrupt. The final bitter irony. Stella, with her once ambitious dreams of being a celebrated designer, was eventually forced to take a job at a large, soulless jewelry factory, mass-producing generic, uninspired pieces for a national chain. Her hands, which once so greedily copied my dreams, were now condemned to churn out identical, unremarkable trinkets, devoid of any personal touch or artistic spark. She was stuck in the very opposite of everything I cherished, forever fabricating the mundane, a stark, silent punishment for her theft of true beauty.